What's up, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to another All-22 film breakdown. We're going to be taking a look at some of the footage from the Cowboys and Falcons game. And honestly, there's just not much to go back on when Dak Prescott was the quarterback in the first three quarters of this game. So I'm going to push forward and look at Cooper Rush footage because I think what we saw in the couple of drives that we saw with him is actually very promising. I'm not going to lie. And if you look at the stats, Cooper Rush went 13 of 25 for 115 yards and a touchdown. Cooper Rush played in less time and got similar stats, arguably better stats than Dak Prescott, who was 18 of 24 for 133 yards and a touchdown. But be sure to hit that like button and subscribe, and let's jump on in. So what we're going to do here is just let the footage run because there's a lot to talk about here. And I believe Cooper Rush might actually be a better fit systematically for Mike McCarthy in this offense. I'm not saying Cooper Rush is better than Dak Prescott. Do not get my words twisted. I don't believe that at all. There are things that Dak Prescott does that Cooper Rush doesn't. That's an obvious choice. But I think Cooper Rush provides you a different type of quarterback play that actually helps this systematic offense. So let's take a look at this first play right here. We've been replaying this. Cooper Rush is a one-read quarterback. He's trusting the system. So he's almost, as soon as he snaps that ball and he plants that foot, that ball's coming out. And I think that's probably part of the issue that we've seen with Dak Prescott is him not seeing it the first read. And it's not all of his fault, right? It's offensive line play. It's wide receivers not getting separation. And I think in this one drive that you're going to see, obviously the Atlanta Falcons are playing sort of a prevent defense, so they're really relaxed off of the receivers. But this is one of those long developing route concepts that we've seen and hated all season long. But it's executed well because Cooper Rush, he's trusting the design. He's trusting the system. He's trusting the scheme, and this ball is coming out whether you like it or not. And in this drive, that's a good thing and a bad thing. And in this route and in this play, it's a good thing. Cooper Rush just slings it. And that's sort of what Mike McCarthy needs for his offense to work is you just need that quarterback to let it go. But here you go, you're looking at this drive. Look at planted foot. That ball's coming out. And I think these wide receivers benefit from that type of offense too. They're not really good at creating space. They're not really good at getting open. So a lot of it is trusting this system and the route design that ball is meant to come out as soon as you plant that foot. These wide receivers are about to make their cuts, and Coop delivers that ball. And that's what I meant by whether you like it or not, Coop is going to throw that ball because the play design is for him to throw it off of that first read. And in a lot of ways, this holds the Cowboys back, right? We've seen that in the first 9 weeks. And it's held Dak Prescott back and these wide receivers back. But it's complementing Cooper Rush's play style. And like I said, it's coming out whether you like it or not. So you're either going to be open or you're not going to be open. And Cooper Rush is fairly accurate. I would say he's accurate 80% of the time. He throws a good ball, good deep ball, has a good float on his lobs. But this is a good example of he's going to throw it whether you like it or not, whether you're open or not. And Jalen Brooks just has to do a better job of fighting for that ball because we're going to see a lot of that in the Cowboys-Eagles game coming up here in Week 10. Again, shotgun, slips a little bit, but that ball's coming out. And it's very refreshing to see that because I think a lot of the struggles and a lot of the shortcomings that we saw with Dak Prescott is, okay, we know the offensive line is not good. So this ball needs to come out quick. Give it to your playmakers. As we keep going here and we're moving and the ball's moving, Coop Rush is just, letting that sling, and he finds a great play right there. Great ball to Kevontae Turpin to move the chains. And then you can sort of just see the drive build. We're firing down the field. We're getting the ball out of Coop's hands, giving it into our playmakers' hands. This was a really good drive, and this is why I stick by the fact that, this game was still winnable even in the fourth quarter. And look at that beautiful deep ball. And as you guys all remember, Cooper Rush, the drive before, had another beautiful ball to CeeDee Lamb, and CeeDee Lamb just dropped it. But make no mistake about it, right? We know what Cooper Rush is capable of. 5-1 as a starter. Can really play the quarterback position well enough to potentially give you a chance at winning games. So Rush ain't no scrub. In Rush, we trust. And this is a great ball, a little bit out of reach. Tolbert dives for it. But I'm not saying that the Cowboys are going to do this and that. I'm not going to say that they're going to remain in contention, but I'm just saying there's a reason why Cooper Rush is the backup quarterback to this team. There's a reason why the Cowboys have confidence in him. And when you look at the tape like we are right now, it's very obvious to see that. Now, if they lose a couple of games, do we see Trey Lance come in here and kind of change the offense? Maybe so. But, I mean, there's promise here that you see just in this drive of what Cooper Rush can do. Again, ball's behind him. Cooper Rush is definitely going to have a few plays that are going to slip his hand. But you can't deny the chance that he gives you, especially within a Mike McCarthy offensive style, a West Coast offense where we're trying to get the ball out of his hands really quick. But, of course, you have the touchdown drive. Again, first look, right? This is a play designed strictly for Jalen Tolbert. Cooper Rush isn't even looking to the left. It's just a bunch of mumbo-jumbo here on the left-hand side. It's a first-read offense, and Cooper Rush is a first-read quarterback. And he's throwing that whether you like it or not, and this is actually a really great throw. Pressure in his face, a little bit on his back foot. He just launches this to the back of the end zone. Great grab from Tolbert. So I like what I see. It's going to be interesting. Obviously, the struggles that you see in this offensive system is when you can take away that first read, and that's where Dak Prescott is obviously a better quarterback than Cooper Rush, as Dak can extend the play and great pre-snap motion here on the two-point conversion. Shout out to 88 right here, getting him wide open. That's a Chiefs-style level of play call right there. Just love that play design right there. I mean, you have the cornerback having to make a choice of going over instead of under. And it's kind of disappointing to see. It's like, where was this when Dak Prescott was the quarterback? Maybe it was, Maybe it was. And, maybe I'll also say this too. In light of speaking of that, I think Dak Prescott wasn't confident. He wasn't playing his best football. We all know that. But I think this is going to allow them to go back to the basics and the fundamentals. And, the Cowboys are getting healthier on the defensive side of the ball, possibly with DeRon Bland, Micah Parsons coming back. So is the season over? It's dwindling, But, again, you look at the film, and the film does not lie, There are chances and opportunities here for the Cowboys offense, especially with them primarily running with Rico Dowdle and having a running game that's going to give them about 70-plus yards now, on top of Cooper Rush getting rid of that ball really quick. And the other thing I like about Coop, too, is if he doesn't like that first read, unless he is getting sacked, he gets rid of the ball. Cooper Rush is a very smart quarterback. And like I said, fairly accurate, too. So you're not going to see him force a lot of balls into triple or double coverage. He understands why he's there. He's there to keep his team afloat and not make errors. And I'm not going to sit here and say that the Cowboys still have a chance, but it's very obvious when you look at the film. Cooper Rush is more than competent to keep this offense afloat and maybe do the things that the Cowboys still want to do this whole regular season. But be sure to hit that like button and subscribe, and I will see you guys later this week. Go Cowboys.